these NIL deals are going to be under scrutiny now. Again, not by the Keystone cops at the NCAA, but by an actual bureaucracy implemented by this group, the people that truly run the sport. And you're going to have to prove you can't just get $2 million a year because you're pimping the local pizza store. You're actually going to have to prove the true market value of the deal. And how they do that, JC, I'm not smart enough to figure out, but that is where we're headed. And it feels like this settlement, which we've all been hearing about and talking ad nauseum about, is getting closer and closer to being ratified and conducted.
Yeah, I got a text last night. So it looks like it's going to be, approved by the judge. That's the word on the street, so to speak. And that's good because there's some schools out there in recruiting that, and all's fair in love, war, and recruiting, that have been telling high school kids in the class of 2026 that they're not going to approve the settlement and that they're going to pay them all this money. And I don't think that's good from a football standpoint. Just high school guys. I mean, I get it, they're very rarely are there ones that are worth that. So use your brain, people. But yeah, it looks like it's coming. And look, there's a lot of talk out there about the cap and all that. And I want to dive into that a sec. The cap is basically all right. So the rev share part of it, Mike, is not salary. They're not employees, nor should they be. This is on the job training, just like all of us that went to college to learn a profession. Now they have a major. There's a lot of benefit to it too. If you want to be a pro football player and you're training to do that, if they're going to say this is the only minor league, you get world-class strength and nutrition programs, world-class facilities, outstanding coaches that develop talent. Oh, you get a free education, books, room, board, a car. You get, transportation to and from place to stay. I mean, everything you could imagine, healthcare, mental health care, dental, vision. I mean, the plan is outstanding. Not to mention the networking that you can do and that sets you up for life. And oh, by the way, yeah, I'm not paying high school guys $1 million, but most of them are a couple $100,000 a year, which is way more than I started out at. I delivered pizzas myself, and gyros in college to support myself. That's better than any future doctor, lawyer, anything. Name your big engineer, name your big time professions, computer scientist, AI.
Well, most of them are in debt after college,
dude. Yeah, and so and for a profession where only 3% of your total players make it, that's overwhelmingly positive, I would think. But you have zealots out there that think otherwise. So they're not employees first and foremost. And I know there's some attorneys out there in labor law and stuff that would argue till they're blue in the face otherwise, but they're just not. Until we have adults playing college football, it's college. They're college kids, right? I just talked about this on a show earlier today. It's development. You have guys that got drafted in the first round at offensive tackle, because I was talking about how it was dumb to pay a high school offensive tackle $2 million a year. That were 6'7", 220.
All about the U-Dog.
Yeah, the U-Dog. They're 6'7", 220 coming out of high school, and they just grew. I mean, so you're dependent on God, Mother Nature, whatever you want to say, in a lot of ways with some of these guys. And football's not like other sports in the sense that you don't actually go play football. It's a gladiator sport. You're training. It's much more similar to like team boxing or team MMA or, you train more than you play the game, but you're getting ready to go into the arena. And that training is invaluable because honestly, you can't do it on your own. You can't just go develop on your own as a football player. And so I think it's a sweet deal if people would use common sense. But what it is, Mike, is an NIL deal. This is how they structure. This is how they get around employment and all that, is that the money has to come from certain buckets. In other words, it has to come out of your TV revenue. It has to come out of your ticket sales. I don't think concessions are part of it. Merch, anything the players like touch, in other words, And it's for the use of their name, image, and likeness. If you read the contracts, that's what it's about. Yeah, we're using you on this television program that we've sold the rights to ESPN for this much money. And so, and it's just like everybody always says, and I've said it makes sense. I said this when NIL first started, Mike. I was like, give them some of the TV money because that's what that is. It's an entertainment product. You don't pay, you don't have friends like you mentioned earlier. You didn't like not pay George Wendt and Woody Harrelson and those guys in Cheers. You did not pay them. You pay your actors. They're the players. Now you also pay the directors and the writers and all that. And, so I thought that was more than fair, and somebody was listening or somebody smarter than I am and decided to do that. So that's an NIL deal. Where people are starting to get it twisted is this clearinghouse, right? And there's no cap on how much NIL you can earn, okay? If you want to go sell T-shirts with your face on it and contract with a company to sell T-shirts with your face on it, and up 100,000 Texas fans buy a T-shirt with your face on it, they're going to approve that. That's totally legit. That's free market that everybody's been griping about. If you go to sign autographs, you're going to get paid pretty well. I mean, all the legit stuff that's been going on, but just hasn't been enough to counteract the booster money that's in the collectives is still in place. And you can do as much of that as you want. But guess what? It's probably going to be related to your value, because some guys that are third string, they'll sell T-shirts and they'll sell one or two to their mom and uncle, and that's it, which I think is totally fair because that's what it's all about. And it incentivizes you to work and get better. I mean, there's a part of that too. So these folks that say, oh, we're not, they're limiting NIL. No. That NIL coming from the school is a rev share, and it is an NIL deal, and there's a pot of money, and they're going to divide that up based on your value as it relates to that television program and the revenue you bring in, which makes sense. You can, if you are good and if you are smart, go out and make as much NIL money as you want on top of that. It just has to be legit. What in the hell is wrong with that? Why are people fighting it? Well, and there's not very many schools fighting it now. Right. There's a few out there, but I'm like, that makes total sense. Get your boosters to go back to build buildings and all that.